may have mentioned once or twice that all this lot's going to have to come out again because the gearbox has got no reverse gear on it, and that is because I unplugged something that turned out not to be the oil filling point, but in fact was something to do with the selectors inside the gearbox, as a result of which I can no longer get reverse gear. So I'm going to have to take all this off. There are pros though, as well as those cons. It means I can do some final tidying in here, especially of the wiring and one or two other bits as well. So let's get it going. Right, yes, except for the fact that I've got a washer jet. Anyway, that's gone now. Well, that's the radiator gone and the attendant oil and water pipes. So I think the next thing is the water pump, which is electric. There's quite a few earth wires that go onto the mounting bracket here. That is not one of them. Looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 6 earth wires that go onto the other bolt here. Right, I think I might even put a nut on the end of that bolt just to keep it all together. But one thing I do remember needs to come off is the alternator, not the alternator, the power steering pump. And that of course requires me to lie on the floor from underneath, just where I've made a great big puddle of oil and water. And this is my MAF sensor, which the standard car doesn't have. So after about, I don't know, probably total 2 hours of disconnecting everything, draining the gearbox oil, pulling the prop shaft out, undoing the engine mountings, undoing the electrical connections, the fuel lines, the oil lines, the gear lever has had to come out. We might now be close to lifting the engine out, and that's what this chain hoist is for. Now I have the ceiling up here, which you can't see, is a typical truss roof construction, but I have got a heavy tube running between two trusses, so it's supported on two of them, but I've done this a number of times, so hopefully we'll be alright. So let's start lifting. And I'm supporting the weight of the engine on the seatbelt webbing, which is remarkably strong actually. Right, you know I said a little while ago that we're nearly, did I say nearly ready to go? Got loads of things detached, all of that, whatever it was I exactly said. But no, I've just spent, must be about another hour. It's funny how you forget things that you necessarily did to do what you're trying to do, at least I have. So I've had to take off the steering shaft and loosen the steering rack to get everything to go past it. But now I I think, some motion. So the back of the gearbox has now dropped down as a chassis member. That means it can't just go down, unfortunately. It has to come forward before it can go down, and it has now done that. So we have some movement, and no doubt there'll be loads of other things to catch in the way, because that's just what happens, including this bit of wiring I've just noticed. That's hooking on a oil hose. Well, I suppose they may come up together. So here it is, the AJ30 with RX8 gearbox attached, as modified to go in the Gilburn Invader. And perhaps you can tell why, although it's kind of annoying to have to take the engine out to fix whatever monkey business I caused by removing that. In actual fact, the wiring could do with a considerable tidy, and actually the engine bay isn't quite as tidy as it could be either. So I'll make the best of it. So the first thing I need to do, of course, is to separate the engine and the gearbox, which should be pretty straightforward. It's just a number of M10 nuts to undo. So my mystery bolt thing is there, and if I look inside here, that appears to align with this and that. And in fact there's a companion bolt thing on the other end. So this is the shortened gear lever, which is used in conjunction with my relocation method, and it goes in. It's a bit hard to do by such a short thing, but I think you can hear it goes in quite well. But if I go to reverse, which is push down to the right and pull back, it doesn't. And that is the essence of the problem. So next day, yesterday I kind of wore myself out lifting and carrying the Mazda 6-speed, yeah, ran out of energy. But today, revitalised with some coffee and the use of this workbench, workmate, This has been quite good actually, because the two large mounting bolts that stick down below the casing here, I managed to grip with my clamping top here, so it holds the whole thing in position, which otherwise it tends to roll around. Anyway, so this is the business end, if you like. This is the part that I'm trying to get off, because the bolt that I should not have removed, in fact, is just in here. So it's actually part of this. Now, you might call that a bell housing, but in reality it's actually the front of the gearbox. In other words, there's oil that goes right up to the back of that, and it's not like you can detach it and leave everything inside this alone. In fact, even now you can see, I think, some cogs showing through. Alright, so what do I need to do to get to this point? So there were a series of bolts that go through from the main casing to the bell housing bit, or the front of the gearbox. But as well as that, there's this area here, and I should show you actually. This, I guess, is the front seal. Well, in there is the front seal from the gearbox, and naturally enough it goes over there, and there was a number of bolts also to fix that on, but no amount of bashing, even with a mallet, would move that. And it turned out that there's actually two circlips. One goes round there, one goes round there, and I have actually removed them. It was kind of hard work to do, or fiddly, let's say. Well, where's it gone? There it is. Alright, that's one of them anyway. It's not like a circlip where there's a couple of little round grippy points in, like most of them do, that you can use circlip pliers on. So it was very much a question of prising it apart and using a screwdriver. But eventually off it came. Off they both came. I'll pick this one up because I don't want to lose it. And that's me. Every time I walk past my doorbell camera, it registers on my phone. Boo-doo-doo-doo. Anyway, so having removed those just now, with my soft mallet, as you can see, the gap's opening up, and any moment now, whatever's going on in here should be exposed. So I'm going to put you down and we'll see what happens. Right, use my mallet, let's go a bit further. And it's off. And here is the offending article. This is the reverse stroke 5th gear interlock. So this is what we can see. This is the bolt thing that I erroneously removed. I hope you can see that. And this is the item that it's meant to swivel on it, like so. I'll check which way up it needs to go. And as I took this out, evidently this thing then fell down in the bottom of the gearbox, or this part of the gearbox. That's quite interesting. That's just there. I wonder if I can get it all back together. got as far as this, thanks very much for watching. And in case you haven't already, please do consider subscribing. That would be really encouraging for me. So catch you on the next one.